everyone. I'm Deborah Gardner, the host to the #1 hospitality show in America, Hospitality Today Live. Welcome, everyone. This is where I have all my amazing guests here to share their real life topics of what they want to display to each and every one of us out there from their own perspectives, opinions, stories, and lessons. And I've kept that promise because today I have a very good friend and industry professional, Kate Christensen, the CEO and president of KCA. And I am so thrilled to have her here today because she's going to share with us how she was able to handle her company during COVID, especially when in-person meetings all dried up. She's also going to share the lessons learned from previous recessions and pandemics and situations like that, and yet what she discovered at this pandemic, along with learning all kinds of personal and professional lessons along the way, and how to even prepare for your next pandemic, because it's not a matter of when it's going to happen. It's going to definitely happen. So don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Today's episode is sponsored by Pickles, fun interactive drawing tool designed for group collaboration, icebreakers, team building at pickles.com. Well, welcome everyone. And now we are so excited to have my good friend, Kate Christensen. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Deborah. Nice to see you today.
Oh, it's nice to see you too. Love the new haircut. A lot of changes going on in COVID, and looks like that's a new change with you. I'm just so, again, excited to have you here because, again, you've been a longtime industry friend of mine. Gosh, we go way, way back. As a matter of fact, I've got a great picture I wanted to surprise you with. This one.
Yeah.
Yes, it looks like it's you and me, my husband Jerry, and our good friend Eric Cooper out golfing one day. Do you even remember when this was?
I think I still have those shorts.
Well,
but it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. It was one of those great hospitality golf outings, and what fun we always had pre-COVID. There's no doubt. But again, it's such a delight having you here today. I know that it has been a tough ride for not only everyone, but especially for you being the CEO, president of your company, and trying to keep your doors open throughout this entire past year. How tough has it really been?
It was hard for sure, but we are totally in survival mode. And I think we approached it in that manner as far as how can we best handle it, because we have no definitive end point. And so even early in March, as the pandemic was coming, I think the first 2 months were more of a just floating the boat. What's happening, what we have to respond to our clients and their respective needs, changes, reductions in scope, as well as try to be proactive and share with them what they can do to save some money. Not only do we do the meeting and events, but we're also an AMC, an association management company. And fortunately with that provides us retained business, monthly checks, monthly work. So we were okay, but certainly, I was searching for grants left and right. We applied for the PPP, we applied for the EIDL, we received them, which really was our saving grace to get us into a reasonable loss this year. So, I think my big points is how did we do that?
Yes.
if
That was
that's.
my next question, because that is always the, the main point is keeping your doors open. And yet, how do you even keep the morale going too among your staff?
Well, that's a good question. Keeping our doors open is really a literal question in so many minds. And we only have one office, although we have 5 remote people routinely. I mean, we already were in that position from the start, so we already knew how to manage people, how to support them, how to supply them with the things that they needed, how to have that communication with the client so that they're not coming into our office and looking for someone, so we have to be extremely transparent with that just to be successful to begin with. So it was just a matter of bringing everyone else into a remote situation, which I think they really all loved. And, it's almost harder to get them back now than it was to have them go remote. But they all worked really well. There was I'm not really one about showing face or making sure you're doing your 8 hours being remote, because you can't really manage or monitor that. You want to work based off of, is the job getting done? Are there any obstacles to make that you need to be aware of to make sure that is overcome quickly and efficiently? So again, there's no glitches. So that was, I think, one of the big things. But since we were already there, we already had the model. That was an easy jump for us.
That's good to hear. Yeah, because they were already used to that process. But you brought up a very good point, is how to get them to come back. I think a lot of companies and organizations are having a tough time with that. And I think stakeholders and other CEOs see the advantage of especially keeping that at home. What else can you say about that? Because that is a tough position to be in as a CEO.
It is, and to respect their needs and requirements as well. So we're right now in the position of, and we just talked yesterday, everybody's saying, I got my first shot, or, I'm going to get my second one on this date. So getting everyone vaccinated that can be or wants to be, so that there is that layer of comfort for some of the others. We do own our own office. So we're not fearful of having 5 other work groups coming and going, or it's really contained to our team. And we do have another team in there as well, but they're working in with the same prospect of getting everyone vaccinated.
Oh, good.
But bringing them back, yeah. It's important in the work that we do, to a large extent, to have that interface with the employees so that they can easily brainstorm, overhear someone else. Aha, that's a new idea. And can you help me with that? But, I'm kind of old school, and that's what I think. But to see my team excel and be so efficient with what they do, because now you've got Skype up. I mean, they're messaging each other. You still have that interaction, and they're still being very, profoundly proficient with what they have to do, and very responsive to their clients. But it's still that human nature of trying to get people together. So my desire is certainly to have everyone back in the office and working, but they have proven me that they can do it and exceed at it by working at home. So maybe we'll have some type of a hybrid schedule moving forward. I'm kind of leaving that up to the team, and our brand new vice president, Kathy Herring, who was our director for many, many years. So she's been in the company for nearly 10 years. And so she's really working very closely with the staff to determine, what's that going to look like here in the next, actually a few weeks, if not a month or 2.
Well, speaking of Catherine, she is on the episode here today with you. She's like, okay.
Yeah,
So obviously She's a big fan of yours as well. Well, this is good to hear because just not too long ago, the U.S. Travel Association shared the total of U.S. Employment loss by the industry. And it was talking about different aspects of the industry, but mostly the leisure and hospitality was, between February 2020 and January 2021, the percentage of loss in the leisure and hospitality industry was 39%. The next industry was the government at 12%. So, I mean, it's been huge, absolutely huge for our industry. And, a lot of businesses are fiercely trying, they're downsizing, they're doing layoffs, they're doing furloughs, they're just, slashing the staff left and right. But you were able to keep everybody intact. So our viewers really probably want to know all that you have mentioned too, but what is that one caviar that really made this happen for you to be this successful, to keep your doors open like that?
Well, certainly having saved in the past and my lessons that I've learned from the previous recession, as well as even 9/11, I had a bunch of folks then as well. And to have everybody says, oh, have a good 6 months savings ready to roll. And it's not personal savings. It's basically what I call retained earnings. So keeping some money available for that company, even though I have to, constantly put in some cash just to make payroll and such. I don't think the team really realizes that, but knowing that this is cyclical, and yes, the pandemic really kicked us all in the gut, and it's a different kind of a recession. But to your point, is the loss in the hospitality, yes, that trickles down to meeting and event planners and of course associations, because now maybe some of those members no longer have their job, or their company no longer will pay for their membership, or you can't have an event. So, of course we easily slid into the whole virtual side. Which is another point of why we were successful, is because we already had clients that are global that we managed online, that had events and meetings online. Okay. So when this happened with Kathy and, we've got Megan Kayas and Desiree Barkeen that have been managing these, and Brandy, who has been in Castle Rock, Colorado for years, decades, handling all of these types of things. It was such an easy shift for us to roll right into virtual. So we really didn't have a hiccup there, which in a lot of cases, be it our competitors or other planners, you had to have that learning curve. You had to figure out what to do. So that was part of the success. But I think most importantly, it's my philosophy, and I hate to say it's all me because it's certainly our team, but it's my philosophy that I've got to keep that team together. I've got to keep them on and working and delivering what our contracts say, and what our deliverables are for our respective clients, because it's just too hard to bring in somebody new, and having that turmoil, that upset, that lack of consistency relates to kind of negative results and less than positive deliverables. So it's important to me to maintain that team. In the 2007 recession, I, watching those numbers very carefully, I had to involve the team right away and saying, hey, I feel this is coming, and this was the truth. What can we do? What do you see? Where do you see things that we can create a savings, do things differently, which results in a, net bottom line of less negative results. And they literally came up. I asked every one of them, do not consult your other teammates. List 3 things that would be important that you see. And from little things like, why do we have a refrigerator that's plugged in the storage room, which is not climate controlled? Well, I know it's there, but that never entered my mind. A lot of different small things that not only impacted the bottom line that we did make changes to, but that it was involving everyone to make them have that commitment to make those changes and to be thinking about reusing a piece of paper on the backside on the local printers versus the large printer. I mean, simple things. We've been doing that for years upon years upon years. But it's like I say, it's making sure that we have that team. In '07, I asked everybody for a 2-week furlough, unpaid, work it out with their supervisors, whether it's every other Friday or for a week in and of itself. It can't really impact client work. And we did a 5% pay reduction from, I think it was September to December. But as I looked at our numbers and we made a slight profit, I gave them back that 5% that we withheld.
Oh, wow.
Who does that?
Oh, wow. No kidding.
This year, we saw it coming, and we had, unfortunately, lost 2 people. They basically left on their own. So just with that normal attrition, we wound up to be okay. And I did ask for, I think it was 1 or 2 payroll cycles of also a 5% reduction, and then we reinstated it. We were able to pick up a couple of local grants that really did help us just get through that. So,
Wow.
searching for other things other than just the PPP, which is where, everybody, it was on the news, you knew of it, but there were a lot of other grants out there, particularly each state and each city that you work or operate in has had different things. Now, most of them are exhausted. I'm not finding too many, but it's going to be a struggle this year too, because the scope of work is still decreased. We all work on commission based, and who's having in-person meetings where you're going to get that $2, $3, $10, $20,000 commission? They're gone.
Right.
So it's coming. It'll come back. I think the gals were telling me yesterday that their first hybrid, so in-person meeting, is going to be in June. So that's great. But otherwise, yeah, sponsorships are down, revenues are down. Yeah, but I'm there for them, and
Wow.
I think they know that.
Wow. Yeah. And I think that's the main thing, that the very successful side of things that you have just displayed is, first of all, know that, although this is happening, you kept the communication lines open with your staff and everyone, so they didn't feel isolated. And I think that is a true leader that displayed it. And on top of it, this is, like I always say, this is not our first rodeo. We've been through this before. This one was a huge one, but you've been through this before and you were prepared. And I'm always asking leaders of our industry, why weren't we ready? It doesn't seem like we've been prepared, but on your scale for your company, you certainly were prepared. And I think between that and communicating with your staff is huge. Congratulations on that. We do have a question already from one of your fans, and it turns out we both know Lindsay. Lindsay, bless her heart, she's a go-getter in this industry, there's no doubt, but she wants to know from you, as a business owner in the industry, do you mind sharing your thoughts on, what about the vaccine? What's your thought process on that? I'm sure you've had that discussion with your staff as well.
Hi, Lindsay, and thank you for being on and listening. I would encourage everyone to get it, but I do believe that it's a personal desire. And like I said, the team talks about it, and I want them to do what they feel best, and some of them want them to be able to come back. So I'm not sure if I've answered it. I'm not a dictator on you must have it. I think it's more of their feeling about getting it and being comfortable and safe within our environment. Now that's in our office. So as we move that or transition that into our meetings that we have, that's a whole nother discussion and that level of discussion needs to be had with each of our respective clients and what they're trying to do and how they're promoting it and how they want to be seen. What light do they want to be seen in by virtue of their peers or their industry peers. I hope I answered that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because we don't know day to day. It's a roller coaster ride right now. It's a moving target on what is going to happen each and every day. So individually, it's a different situation than meetings, and it'll be interesting, don't you think? What they're going to do. I mean, we're already hearing, the passports are going to be different. The TSA facial expressions are going to be different. AI is going to play a big part. I just know, events like Burning Man is not going to happen unless you have your vaccine. You cannot attend unless you have your vaccine. And now, on the other hand, we have other meeting and events where, as long as you're 6 feet away, you don't have to wear your mask. So it seems like it's all over the board right now. And it's going to be kind of like a case by case situation at the moment.
So I think the bottom line is it's positive. Things are coming back and everybody's handling it individually, based on what they feel is the best thing. So we have a lot of tools to deal with, but yeah, there's no specific quote unquote regulation or requirements as of yet. So that's why we go back to having those discussions with the respective clients and their members, polling, doing a quick survey. What do you think? Would you attend? Because it all boils down to money. Can you afford to host a meeting and have 20 people when you're expecting 150 or whatever that comfort number may be? But
yeah. Well, with your clients, and I know you've probably been talking with them throughout this entire process. And now that hybrid is coming into the picture, and I know there's a logical answer above and beyond hybrid, but it looks like we're all going to be in the hybrid world real soon. I'm hearing from the meetings industry world that planning a hybrid event is a nightmare because you're planning 2 meetings in one. And so on top of wearing so many hats, between you and your clients, how is this hybrid process really going to pan out for you and your clients?
Well, I'd have to defer that to my team for sure. I know they're in the middle of working on a few. So I know they're not on, but we did make an effort to recommend a hybrid meeting for a very large program last September, which ironically was going to be at the Arizona Grand. And we were expecting, I think we were about probably 1,500 people. And the intricacy of planning that and the additional cost for that, because there were so many breakout rooms. I think we had 9 concurrent breakout sessions, and each one needs a camera and an operator, and the amount of bandwidth that you need to send that all up, and again, how you manage the registrants, and are they on, are they not on, particularly in a certification situation, which is what it was definitely a challenge, and the client inevitably backed off of it. But now we're starting to do those, but much smaller and much more controlled environments to maintain the cost level.
Okay. That's probably the key. Not only even the cost level, like you mentioned, but even in the attendance. So maybe starting out small and working their way up is going to be more manageable, more controllable, because again, we know once you get on site, anything can happen as well. So it's kind of tough, no doubt. Well, looking back into this year, we all learned something new and different. Was there anything in particular that stood out, even though you've been through this before and you were prepared for this? Is there anything new that our viewers would love to hear? What Kate Christensen actually learned from all of this?
There's several things, actually. I think one of the first and foremost was seeing how formidable our KCA team was and still is. They remain. the way they were so flexible in making changes and working with and through the client's needs. And there's not just one client. There's a lot of them that are different. The requirements and needs are different, and their reductions in scopes were different. And so have that trickle all the way down to the accounting department. What are we billing now? Why are we billing this? This is different. Why did we change that? So when you're going through something like this, it's not just you, it's not just the overall company, it's the intricacies of all of the staff members, and making sure that they're happy and content with what they've got, and dealing with their clients and having the ability, I think, empowering them to make those decisions. And they're all smart. We have all women on the team now, but they're all smart ladies, and I am constantly surprised at their abilities, capabilities, and desires, passion, compassion, and their desire to learn more. So I think you always have a wonderful stake in your team. You always think the best of them, but boy, I'll tell you what, they all came through shining like brilliant stars, at least for KCA, through this pandemic.
Oh, wow. That is great. Great to hear, because if anybody needs to learn how to get through a pandemic, there's no doubt that they need to look at you and your company. We have another question actually from our other good friend, Lynn Wellish, as well. She wants to know what incentives can a destination offer to make it a top choice? Pretty good question.
It is. And I think that's based individually based on the respective clients and what quote unquote turns them on or trips their trigger, as I say a lot. Lynn, as well as I, that's a big can of worms, whether it's financial incentives, like I know Tucson does, and many destinations provide some type of a financial incentive based on the number of rooms or the amount that you spend. Could it be, the complimentary site visits? There's so many things that all of them do just to get you there to look at their destination. I don't know. I had a client once, we were looking in San Diego, and they put this woman on one of the yachts, the tour boats, but it was very small. It was very upscale, if you will. It wasn't one of the larger boats, which is what she was, looking for her group of almost 500 people. And she just felt like such a princess that was definitely something she was going to do within her trip, even though that wasn't the same experience. But providing that end user buyer, right? So I'm the third party. Yes, I'm an influencer, but I'm not necessarily the decision maker. And I think my team can probably speak the same of the meetings that they deal with. Oftentimes, it's our suggestions or how we set up what those benefits or incentives may be for that group. That really makes the difference with that decision maker. So whether it's us with a little bit of an influence or whether it's something that they really have been wowed with, which works. And in this particular case, I knew her daughter was going into the Navy. I knew she loved to be on the water. So just by making those mentions, the destination was able to craft something that was really a big wow for her. I hope that helped.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I think incentives, in the past haven't been looked upon as a very, front runner when it has to do with the hospitality industry. And I think today people are taking incentives a lot more seriously. Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to see more of those because I believe, that, gosh, we just need variety in our industry. And I think incentives and companies are going to see that we really need, those type of events more than ever. So, and you take care of all that. So what better person to call than to you to handle those, no doubt. Well, is there anything that you feel grateful for during this entire pandemic, maybe on a personal basis as well? This is all live.
Yes, sorry. I have an 11:30 call. I think, I go back to my team. We couldn't have come through if they weren't as resilient and as supportive of each other as well as the clients. But I just want to say, I'm grateful for being here today with you because it's giving me this wonderful opportunity and following, industry icons like Joan Eisenstadt or Dawn Penfold or David Kleinman or, all of these icons. I feel very special to be noticed with my small little company, Arizona based, but we go globally, everybody says that, but we really do daily.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I'm very proud of what you have done. I've seen what you've done over the years. We've known each other for a long time, and you prove it over and over as one of the most powerful business women in the industry. And no matter how small the company, you've got such a big heart, and you do go big, like globally. And I hear your name and everything that you do out there. So, oh yeah, this was definitely a special episode to have you on today. Now, I know we're going to have to end now because it looks like you have another appointment that just had a little ding for you. How can people get in touch with you to continue this kind of top conversation?
Oh, everyone's always welcome to give me a call. We do have a website, which is kc-a.com. And there is like an info sheet on there. If you just fill that out, I'll get it, and then I'll be able to call you, or you can certainly reach me at our office, 480-893-6110. Once again, 480-893-6110. And I'm always happy to schedule a time to talk with everyone. So whatever their needs may be, if it seems like a good fit, I'm happy to chat.
Yeah, and catch her now, because once COVID's over, she'll be really busy.
Yeah, it's
back to the busyness.
Yeah. We're very happy to see the return.
This was such a delight. Thank you so much for your time. And gosh, I can't wait to stop by. I know all the time, every time I head to Tucson, I stop by your office to use your bathroom. So I plan to do that more often once things open up a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd love to see you anytime.
Your wisdom is terrific. Great having you here on the show, and we'll see you again. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Have a lovely week.
Well, I hope all of you really enjoyed this interview and conversation with Kate Christensen with KCA. A delight always, and an icon in the industry as well. And if you are interested in sharing this, please, by all means, do so. You can actually get the replay of this episode on our Facebook page and YouTube, along with LinkedIn as well. We want to thank our sponsor, pickles.com. If you have any questions, please join us and here anytime with comments or questions, or also contact us at hello@hospitalitytodaylive.com. Well, next week we have Steve Gamlin. Yes, Steve is the expert on vision board. And what he is going to share with us is how to utilize a vision board to conquer your goals. I can't wait to talk to Steve, because I know I have some goals that I have to accomplish as well. So we hope you'll join us next Tuesday. I'm Deborah Gardner, and on behalf of this growing staff, thank you so much for joining us here on HTL. And remember, if you're thinking about it, we are actually talking about it. So definitely join us next time right here on HTL. And we hope that you will have a terrific, terrific week.